All righty then. Good evening, everyone. This is Ron. It is Monday, October 13th,
One second.
so after 6 p.m. So,
Hold 1 second, please.
yes, sir.
Permit would you restart the recording? Not yet. Just turn it off for now, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is Ron. It is Monday, October 13th, a little after 6 p.m. And we'll go ahead and get started and hopefully sort of pick up where we left off on yesterday, okay? Um, If you don't mind, I would like to start something off before I ask if there are any questions, 'cause I want to make sure this isn't left out there. Uh, on yesterday, Charles asked a question, and I'm not sure if we answered it properly. He talked about access to the ancestors, and if that was done through in your sleep. And we've talked about that a number of times, but the accessing the ancestors can be done at any time. Uh, it's as easy as your prayer and meditations. It's not something that you have to be unconscious to do or in a certain frame of mind to do. But anybody else want to help me with that? Anybody else want to elaborate on that a little bit? No? Okay. Just want to make sure uh that everybody is aware of that. Uh, this is not something reserved for certain people. It's not something you have to be at in a meditative state or alone to do. Anytime you in a mood to pray or even just to give thanks, you are speaking to the ancestors. They are there for you. They are you and you are them. Uh, it is even talking to your spiritual self, and it is wisdom, it is truth, and it is available to us, and it's not something that we have to do be in a special place to do. Okay, just wanting to make sure that we understood that.
And Ron,
Any
may I add one thing?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
This is Kathy. Hello, family. The other thing is as well, the ancestors talk to us all the time. It
Yes.
is not that we are always seeking them out. They are always giving guidance and direction, but we have been kind of tone deaf spiritually to what they're telling us sometimes. And now that we are more aware of who we are in the spiritual nature, the spiritual beings that we are in the spiritual nature of all that is, we have a better understanding now that just directions, just don't do this at this point, slow down, don't go fast, just talking to us and guiding us all the time. But we have always dismissed that as something told me, or I had a feeling, or I just don't know why I did that. But we are now learning that that is communing with the ancestors, and I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Very worthwhile knowing. Any questions about any of this? Just want to make sure sometimes we get in discussions that we're not confusing anyone, that we are kind of expounding on what we're saying, but we're the truths are out there. Uh, and this is something that any and all of us have access to.
Hello, Ron. This is Sheldon.
Hey, Sheldon.
Um, Good evening. I was away and actually missed those questions in those sessions. I just returned.
Okay.
But was the question solely around us communicating to the ancestors, or was it, both ways just now while we were actually asleep?
Well, on yesterday, Charles asked a question, and I'm not sure. It was kind of a question where you there was some long discussion afterwards, and after I thought about it, I was speaking with Kathy earlier, and it came back to it. we were talking about it because we were not sure we answered it, but he was talking about communing with ancestors in your sleep. And we didn't want everybody to think that that's all there is to it, that you only speak to your ancestors in your sleep. So as Kathy said, ancestors are not only can we communicate all the time, but they're communicating with us at all times as well. But that's where it came from.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Well, the first part, I definitely wanted to say, but it sounds like that has been established and spoken about the two-way, both-way communication during the sleep, but not just communication. And I know in the sleep, but personally, even in the awakened state as well, feeling a strong sense of comfort and presence, showering with an abundance of love and support. Um, and I was thinking about it maybe about a week ago, and I'm not sure she understood the magnitude of it when she made the statement, and I'm not even sure where she actually got it from. I think she got it from somewhere else. But Oprah made the statement one time that when she walks in a room, she walks in a room, and I guess more so at the time it was like a business meeting or something, but that's besides the point that I'm trying to get to. But that she walks in that room with, hundreds of thousands of people with her. And in some sense, even though she was just talking about from a business standpoint, I don't know if she actually understood from a spiritual standpoint, because I think she was actually talking about more so in terms of ancestors that came from her and just the greatness of being Black and what Black people have overcome. But spiritually, even in that support in real time, when we walk around or every day, anywhere in general, not only are we communing with, but that presence is there and it supports us. It supports us even from a spiritual standpoint in terms of putting things in place or that in favor for us or thwarting off certain things, literally working, on our behalf. That also is a part of communing with the ancestors. I'm finished.
I like that. The walking in the room in the community. I like that. We're never alone. And the more that we recognize that we're more spirit than physical, I think we're moving in a place to feel that, which sort of brings me to another point. Well, let me see if there are any questions on what Sheldon said before, but I want to piggyback off something else he said to go to something else. But make sure everybody's okay with this so far.
Yes, it resonates. This is
Okay.
real.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Uh, Sheldon made a point of us never being alone. Do you guys realize? I think sometimes we watch so much media, it kind of drags us down and kind of takes a little bit of your energy away. But do you guys recognize that we don't have limitations? Have you ever stopped and thought about that? We actually have no limitations. There's some things we don't know. There's some things that we haven't uncovered yet or been revealed to us. And maybe that's what we're confusing to be limitations. Uh, like, for example, someone called and asked me something or to do something or to pray about something, I do. And my thoughts are, I want to know how to do this. Show me how to do this. What am I not seeing? I have those thoughts sometimes because I really don't think it's anything that I can't do. And if I look at it to the point that I look at myself and don't see it, I look to you guys for answers. So I look at this as the group of us, when we come together, the energy that is produced, we have no lack. We have no limits. And the things that we may even fear the most, the things that we see in the media are the things that you put in motion. We put those things out there. We got Donald Trump in the White House. We got all this stuff stirred up. We have things intensifying in Kabbalah, Africa. So we're in the midst of all of this. We can't fear us. Okay? So when you think about it, we have no limits. There are things we are not aware of yet, but that doesn't mean that that won't come soon rather than later.
I think, are you finished on?
I think so.
Talking about limitation, I think that when we talk about limitations, we don't really think about what we are saying. The only reason that we are limited is because we are not we're not walking fully into who we are. First of all, if you are Elohim, right, then how can you be limited? It's an impossibility, is it not?
It is.
So our limitations are self-imposed. I'm gonna give you an example in 1 second. I remember when I lay hands on people, they were healed. Anything from a headache to eyesight and the healing from HIV/AIDS. I remember those days when that happened, and some of you remember them as well. However, I think I mentioned this to you guys before. That a day came when it was spoken to me that I needed that. The voice said, "You have been able to lay hands on people and bring healing to them. But now you will not be able to do that. Now you are going to learn the reason you were able to do that." And from that point forward, here I am. I remember one case in particular, young lady in the hospital, cancer, they called me. I go to regional, so I'm a regional, and I lay hands on her and speak to her body, cancer gone. And I told her what she needed to refrain from doing in order for her to remain healthy. She chose not to. And when she chose not to, a couple of weeks later, I got a call. And the call was that she had gone to the doctor and she was in pain. And when she went to the hospital, the cancer was there again, even though she had been cleared before that. And she died in just a few days. And some of you guys, especially you guys from Great in Faith, remember that incident, I'm sure. So what am I saying to you guys? I am saying that when it told me, when that voice said to me, now I'm going to show you why. I see the why. The why is because I know who I am now. I am Elohim. However, I am not walking in the fullness of who I am, and I doubt very seriously if any of us are. And that is the struggle that we have, not just saying it, but walking in it, because we don't know what walking in it looks like. I say to you, read the Bible, and everywhere it talks about God, it's talking about you. When it talks about that God's not a respected person, that is talking about you. We do not hold a greater respect for any humanity than we do for others. When we talk about the essence of deliverance, when you talk about Jesus walking on the water, what are we saying? We're actually saying that when you walk in the fullness of who you are, deliverance, then the storms will be there as they are now, but they will not include, you will not be involved in them or caught up in them. You will always be above the storm because you are in the world but not of it. And when Peter came to walk on the water, it was simply saying there will be those who will recognize who they are. However, when the rubber meets the road, they'll lose their focus. And when you lose your focus, you get caught up in the storms all around you. So the idea of us being Elohim is real. It is no different than an adolescent growing up into adulthood. There are things that you don't realize until you get grown. There are things that people have said to you, parents, neighbors, etc., that didn't make sense to you until you got older. So the more that we understand what it means to be who we are, not who we are, but what it means to be who we are, the more we will understand that we are limitless, and the more we will understand that some of the things that we desire to bring into fruition, we have not done it, rather, not because we can't, we have not done it because we have not walked or understood the fullness of who we are. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, based on what you just said, Pastor, I have a question. I think where we get in trouble sometimes and think that we may not have the ability to know and to do all things is because we start to look outside of ourselves and look at physical results and look for things to be answered through physical means. And so as you were speaking, I'm still wrapping my mind around, and I'm going to use these words interchangeably because I'm not quite settled with it yet, but Akashic consciousness or Akashic records, based on the fact that that is the knowledge of everything that has ever been and everything that will ever be. And I'm going to say it this way, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's who we are. Then we do know all things. It's just that in the fullness of time, and what I mean by that, as things occur when I need to know what I need to know to deal with a certain situation, that's when these answers will show up and come to me, or that's when we'll say, well, something came to me, or I didn't even know I knew that, and all of a sudden you're answering something and doing something. So I guess my question becomes, if I'm seeing Akashic consciousness correct, in the correct manner, is that how we can say we know all things? Because, point in case, when we were looking at the election and we studied about a cosmic mother, we looked outside of ourselves spiritually and put all of our confidence and hope in the election of Kamala. When that didn't happen, we went through some what I call now growing pains, spiritual growing pains, because we had to come back to the fullness of understanding and get back to the point of realizing, even though we weren't there yet spiritually in our thinking, it did not negate and stop anything from the cosmic mother retaking the throne and everything being put right spiritually, even though we were looking for it to happen through an election. Once we got back on the page and saw that, oh, we didn't miss it, we just looked in the wrong place. And now that we're looking in the right place again, now we can move forward in the way that we're supposed to. So I guess I'm trying to say, and my question is, how does, if I'm seeing it correctly, how does the Akashic records go into everything that you just said, or consciousness go into everything that the examples that you just gave?
The Akashic records is not something that's outside of us. The Akashic records were in place before there was a physical world, because the Akashic records contain wisdom. And that wisdom was available before we were brought into this earth. Had it not been, then we would not have known what to do when we got to this earth. So when we're talking about Akashic records, I do not like that word records at all. And the reason I don't is because when Europeans figured out there was intelligence available that did not come from men in the earth, that's when they start talking about the Akashic records. And I'm saying that it is Akashic consciousness, because consciousness is an awareness of not only who you are, but it's also an awareness of is also an awareness of everything that is. The scripture told us that, and we didn't pay any attention. The scripture says that the spiritual man knows what?
All things.
All things, right?
Yes.
So the godly, what it's talking about is when you know who you are, you don't have a problem embracing those things that come to you. They have always come to us, even when we were in European classes, in college, in high school, when we knew stuff and didn't know where it was coming from, and we thought it was we being smart. We smarter than some. No, it was the wisdom coming from the Akashic consciousness. The African in the earth has never been separated from the Akashic consciousness. Why? Because the African became physical. It was spiritual before it became physical. And with it being spiritual before it became physical, that means that the spiritual essence of all wisdom was always with us. Does that make sense?
It does so far, yes.
So in relationship to what I was saying in regards to the ancestors being present with us, the ancestors are the brokers, kind of, sort of, between the Akashic records and us. We have been so indoctrinated with European thought until we need someone to be an intercessor between us and understanding the Akashic records and even embracing them. Why? Because of our dilemma with being purged of this European mindset. So we are in the process, rather, of purifying ourselves from it. We are in the process of becoming who we were created to be. And the more we embrace that, the more we see that the things that we are made privy to are coming from the Akashic consciousness, the Akashic awareness, of the awareness of wisdom, and the awareness that wisdom is feminine because it has a womb. The information we get from it comes from a womb, is being birthed in us. So I'm saying all of this to say that it is not your cosmic consciousness does not relate to our physical being. The cosmic consciousness is intertwined with our spiritual DNA, meaning that we can never be separated from it. It will always be with us. Whether we acknowledge it or not, it is always there. Does that make sense so far? I mean, does that make sense on the question? Kathy, did I answer your question?
You're answering my question. It does make sense. So are we saying it's in us or it is us?
I'm saying that nothing is in us. Nothing spiritual is in us. Spiritually, all spiritual thing is who we are. Does that make sense so far?
Yes, that cleared it up. Thank you.
Now, the reason I say that is because I don't want us to have this mindset that something is inside of us. Because when we make statements like that, we are alluding to these types of consciousness or this spirituality being inside of this body. But this body is actually inside of us in terms of spirituality. We were spiritual beings before there was a body. So we are much larger than this body. If we were not, it would be impossible for us to be connected spiritually. I am you, you are me type thing. That would not exist if we were limited to the being present in our bodies. Does that bring some clarity or understand? I don't know.
It
Does it-
does. And I guess my only final question then would be, and I guess we're doing it. We are doing through what we're doing now, learning and being on the phone 3 times a week and then walking in the truth of what we learn. That's making us more aware that this is who we are and,
Yes.
and making us, and I'll use this term loosely when I say that we have access or we are, I don't know how to phrase this last part. It's making us more aware that we have the
Not access,
ability, let me say it that way, the ability
not access, not ability.
to know these things, the ability to know these things. Am I saying that correctly?
No, use the
To
word
know all things.
the awareness. We are aware now that we know all things. Why?
Okay.
Because all things are spiritual. Now, just because you know all things, it doesn't mean that you're going to regurgitate it at will. Why? Because how long did it take us to get to this place where we could truly embrace the reality that we are God, that we are Elohim? It was always there, but there are things that you have to purge yourself from, and there are things that you have to embrace in order for you to become comfortable with the principles of spirituality, because the principles of spirituality are so disconnected to who we are until we have to slow roll it to get back to where we were from the beginning. If we had started talking about, well, let me put my, if I had said that, let me tell you something. When you get to God, when you find God, it won't look godly because you're God and there is no Jesus. Jesus does not exist. If I had said that at the beginning of this journey, how many of you would still be on board?
I'd have thought you were crazy, to be honest.
Yes, and now here we are. Why is it that we had to travel this journey? When you travel a journey of discovery, you have to purge yourself of the essence that you thought you were. We are spirit, but we can't know Jesus until we get to heaven and shake his hand. That kind of stuff.
Mhm.
We had to be purged of those type of beliefs. We had to be purged um, of so many other things. An example is that Kamala Harris was a physical manifestation of of the femininity of the cosmic mother, seeking us to open our eye so we can embrace the reality of her authority, of the authority of femininity. And when we sought the victory in physical terms, and when that didn't happen, it devastated us for a minute until we begun to talk about this is not it. We were given the Akashic Mother. It was not Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris opened the door for us to search for femininity and to believe in it. And once we believe in it, now we see that in order for us to be able to bring humanity to balance in the midst of the storm that we are in, we were going to need to, first of all, embrace the reality of the cosmic mother, embrace the reality of femininity being the protectors of our soul, those kinds of things. Does that make sense? Any questions
Yes.
about? We have traveled a long way, but we have not arrived yet.
Yeah.
There are multiple things that we are going to see, especially before the end of this year. And those things that we are going to see before the end of this year are going to be devastating. I'm going to say something. I have been making every effort to follow 3i and oh God, what is it? 3i Atlas. 3i Atlas. I've been making every effort to follow that.
Yeah.
And in doing so, what I have, the information I have gathered,
Pastor, if you don't mind, tell them what that is, please.
I am in a second.
Okay.
The information that I have gathered, oh, I'm sorry for the noise. The information I have gathered speaks to the asteroid, the comet that's expected to breach our atmosphere. Is not a comet at all. And the reason that NASA and news media really stopped talking about it is because they have come to the conclusion that this is not a comet, it's actually a spaceship. And if you think, Vermeil, if you thought I was crazy then, you definitely gonna think I'm crazy now.
No,
Because I do not believe that it is outside of the realm of reality that this can be true. And one of the reasons is because the Dogon always talked about it came from Sirius 2 and nobody believed it. And when they located Sirius 2, now they were trying to figure out how did they get him. And the Dogon told them how they got him. They traveled to this place. So what am I saying? I'm saying to you that between now and the end of this year, we are going to have experiences that we would have considered outside the realm of reality or within the confines of insanity. But that's not going to be the case. There are things right now that we have experienced that we never thought we would. And some things that we have experienced, we never knew we could because we never thought about them. This journey has given us opportunity to see things differently than what we've ever seen them. When I talked about the walking on water, Jesus walking on water, this is talking about deliverance. Now, where did that come from? It did not come from research in books. It came from the Akashic consciousness to see it for what it is. And we have talked about those things. The word of creation is available to us. And by it being available to us, we've talked about having the authority to recognize what Scripture, the truth in Scripture, and speak it. And that's what it is. Why? Because the Bible was not written for the purposes that it has been used. The Bible was written for the children of the sun. The Bible was written for the children of Akebalon. And it became toxic because they used it for slavery. However, the creator of everything that is making us aware of the Akashic consciousness. And now that we are aware of it, now that we embrace it, the things that we were supposed to see in Scripture from the beginning, we are beginning to see it now. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yes, yes, it does.
Any questions about that? But
Pastor, I have a question.
one moment, Evelyn, please. The Scripture
Thank
says
you.
that the word is so simple, even a fool can understand it, right? What does that mean? That is saying that the Scripture is so simple until you can understand it. Why could we not understand it like this before? Because we were not ourselves. We were someone else. Doctrination made us embrace being somebody else as opposed to being Elohim. And when we embrace Elohim, we started seeing the spiritual essence in the Scripture. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Evelyn?
Okay, so if we are the laws of Maya, why did God give us the Bible?
Because the one who created everything knew what the plan was before we did. The Bible is a book of remembrance as opposed to being a book to get you to heaven. The Bible is a book that tells you who you are. It is a mirror, but it is so encoded until the understanding of it is not really clear to us at all until we embrace who we are. If we were in Christianity and were able to see things as we see them now, it would be no different than giving a child of 45 and expecting that child to target practice with it. Our attitudes, our egos were not in a space where we would be able to rightly divide this word for the benefit of humanity. Does that make sense, Evelyn?
I'm processing.
Well, okay. Christianity stole the Ten Commandments from Maat and made them something else. And we bought into it. Now that we bought into who we are, we know that the reason that we are so forgiven, the reason that we have taken care of children that were not our own, just in the neighborhood, the reason that we are expressive of loving kindness is because principles of Mayat. Because Mayat is just as much of our spiritual DNA as is the Akashic consciousness. I hope that helped you process them.
Yeah, and I'm listening to you. So, do you think that, and I'm sorry, honor to the ancestors. Okay, so do you think that we shared what was inside of us with the colonizers, and then that's when the Bible was formed and they manipulated it?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
They used the Bible to justify slavery from the beginning. So I believe that the one who brought us into existence brought the writings into Kemet, knowing that they were going to be manipulated. They were going to be stolen. And what the colonizers did not realize is that the Bible is a Trojan horse. You know what I mean by that?
Elaborate, please.
Yes.
This horse was built, and it was presented. I think it was in Carthage, wasn't it? And inside of this wooden horse were soldiers who could not penetrate the fortification of the walls. I think it was Carthage. Anyway, of the city. So when they built
Troy?
that, Troy, thank you. I don't know who you were, but thank you. They built they built the horse. The soldiers were in the horse. They accepted the horse as a gift, pulled it inside of the gate, and they were defeated from within because they brought the ones who defeated them in as a gift. And the colonizer did not know that the Bible is a Trojan horse and can be only understood by those who are spiritual, by those who are melanated, by those who are have embraced the essence of their being. And by embracing the essence of being, the eye opens and we begin to see clearer. And it gets clearer and clearer as we teach, as we talk, as we move on this journey. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does. And again, I'm still processing, but I do have another question. Do you think we will, I know you are guided by the ancestors to teach whatever. Do you think we'll revisit Revelations again, since a lot of what's happening is in Revelation?
I cannot say that we will revisit Revelations any more than I can say that we're going to continue this discussion on Saturday, because I am not the one who decides what we're going to talk about. The ancestors are. And I am not what I don't do the curriculum, the spiritual curriculum. The spiritual curriculum has been in place from the beginning. And that spiritual curriculum comes through us during the course of our questions, our discussion, I was seeking answers, and it comes to us because we we know that if one of us misspeaks or if one of us says something differently than someone else said it, we trace it until we get to the root of it. When we are like that, without getting all upset, because some of the things that we deal with here, if we were to question other theologians about it, they would get angry because they don't have that calmness, because they don't have the truth. They have theocracy. They have this the theology, which is a study of God. And how can you study God if you don't know who God is? And when we read the scriptures, we are not studying God as much as we are using it as a mirror to show us who we are. Can you see the difference?
Yes, sir. And I know how you work. So it was just a thought that came to my mind. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the questions. Anyone else?
Let me say a few comments.
Go ahead.
Going back to Kathy's questions, all of it is tied together in terms of us having access and us having awareness. I was thinking of it in terms of an analogy. And I don't want to say I misspoke, but what I said earlier, while true, it is actually still a poor example. So when we think about it, and we've said in the past that in terms of the drop of the water and the drop of the water of the ocean, and if you think of in terms of us, each drop is the ocean. There's no such thing as where the ocean started, where it ends, etc. Within, and all this, I'm tied together. When you think of a cell, every cell of the body carries and knows the DNA of the entire body. Those cells that have even died, because those cells are constantly dying all the time and individually have a short life. All of them have that same and carry that same DNA. In a sense, it's the same exact knowledge. And I made the statement that, and I used the example of Oprah, but I was more so talking about us. We walk in a room and we bring hundreds, thousands, or whatever. That is actually incorrect in that it's so much more. We actually walk in the room representing not only ourselves, but all our ancestors. We're not only doing it for them, we're doing it for ourselves. We're doing it, if you want to think about it, in terms of all of Africa, of all Blackness, from the very beginning. That is who we are when we walk in. This idea of having access to information is not true. And I know we already went over, but I just want to emphasize it and talk about it in a different way. Things that we have come about and thought about from a conscious standpoint, and it just resonates. And we really, really feel one with that and know it without a doubt. It's not that we never felt that way. It's just that we never actually considered, or if you think of a very, very vast, and essentially what we are, a base of knowledge. We just finally got to that page. You get the book and you just go scrolling through the page, and any random time you can end up on anything. But that is not just that we're becoming aware of. That is us. The awareness that we are, the knowledge that we are, that which I don't even want to say carry, but what we are. We are simply opening ourselves up to it in a sense, and in a sense changing our lens, from one thing to the other. But that thing for which we're looking at was always there. There was something else that I was thinking about. I feel like James Richard making a comment. That which we told Jesus was we and our ancestors are not only that, but so much more. Jesus, the whole idea of Jesus, was an extremely poor concept of who we was, that entire idea that we embraced and learned in a sense. I'm finished, unless there are questions.
Thank you, Sheldon. There was a scripture that says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. He was in the beginning with God. So the Word being what the voice of beginning, and the voice of beginning was with God and was God. So is that not saying that we have always existed? Elohim has always existed, and the word is you cannot separate the word of divinity from Elohim, and not being able to separate the words of from beginning or about beginning or from beginning from Elohim, then that means, according to the scriptures, that the word is us as well as us being the word. Now, this is not talking about a charismatic word or a word written on paper. This is talking about the voice and essence of something. Are you with me still? This is
Yeah.
talking the voice and essence of something. So this being the voice of essence of who we are, then that means that the cosmic consciousness has always existed. Even before we were, that the spirit, this body was inside of the spirit. So the body exists for a specific purpose. We talked about that our Creator wanted to have a human experience. I agree with that. I also see that in order for this human experience to reach the goal of the Creator, this experience has to be inclusive of creating an image and likeness. We are the image and likeness spiritually. We have created physically in terms of all of humanity coming from the seed of a Kabbalah. Now, outside of a Kabbalah, understand that the whole earth is a Kabbalah. Outside of a Kabbalah, meaning thoughts, meaning principles that have been distorted. Now that distortion is made available because when we are able to bring into a place of existence righteousness that overrides these distortions, such as Christianity, Islam, etc., and such as politics and greed and money and all that stuff. When we understand that, and I do believe that we understand it, when we talk about bringing balance, we are actually bringing that into fruition, which means that our goal is to create in our image and likeness. And that is mindset. That is thinking like the creator. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, please ask the question or straighten me out or help me see it.
I'm not sure. When you were speaking, what I was thinking is something that I forgot to say. And I will say that the word that you are actually talking about, that was always us. You're speaking of us. You're speaking of us in a sense, quote unquote, for lack of better words, predating us coming into human bodies. And so that word from the beginning was us. The thing that I had forgot to say, but I think I personally wasn't supposed to say it, so you can say what you said just now, is that we're also now in human form ancestors that have been here before and have returned back in the physical the physical body experience. What's the word I'm looking for? We are dwelling currently in a human physical body, if you will, but not that the human body in itself is by itself just us. But the point is when you talk about from the beginning, Elohim, the understanding is that, well, in the way that as a collective we think, we have to understand that we are talking about us. We're not talking about, back before. We're not just talking about us as our physical human experience. We're talking about ourselves being before even entering in this body. I'm finished.
Thank you.
This is Ramel. I'd like to ask a question. The word was it not supposed to be in there?
I believe that everything's supposed to be is. And the reason I say that is because the past, present, and future is all now.
So
And-
was is referring to that past, present, and future, which is all now.
Yeah, and I'm saying that when we talk about beginning, that the writing of in the beginning was, there is no article in front of beginning. So it doesn't say in the beginning. It says beginning created Elohim. So beginning is a spiritual essence that brought into existence Elohim. And Elohim is the word because beginning brought the essence into being as it brought Elohim into being. So it is talking about us being the created word of our creator. I hope I'm not rambling.
Question.
Go ahead.
So was beginning the consciousness that encompassed the Akashic consciousness?
Yes. Yes, I'm saying
That's my question.
the Akashic consciousness has always been in existence.
No, my question is, was beginning the consciousness that encompassed the Akashic consciousness?
I'm saying yes, it was. And the reason I'm saying yes, it was is because beginning had to encompass the Akashic consciousness or the Akashic wisdom is because if it hadn't, then it would have had to be created separately. So
Okay,
when it's
right.
beginning, yes, I'm saying this is it is encompassed. The Akashic consciousness is encompassed in that, yes, because everything is in the now.
So then if beginning created Elohim and the Akashic consciousness was encompassed in beginning, then Elohim is part of the Akashic consciousness,
Which,
or
yes,
the Akashic consciousness is inherently a part of Elohim.
and I'm saying that
Yes.
there is no separation between being Elohim and being a Akashic consciousness. No separation.
Okay, I think we're saying the same thing.
We are. We are. I think we are. Is there anyone who see it differently or clearer or whatever?
Good evening. I don't want to, I'm not speaking directly to that, but I want to ask a question about beginning. Beginning of what? Because that energy always was, is, and it was always in the now. So was the word beginning placed there as a way of marking for humanity what happened? I don't know if I'm clear with the way I'm asking this, but beginning.
I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, you got me. Okay.
That
So
I see that. Go ahead, Audrey.
I just want to add, because I want you to clarify it for us. So beginning is not a time frame, right?
No, I see beginning as a spiritual mark of demarcation. A spiritual, it's like, let me see if I can put this in human terms to show us a spiritual truth. Atoms. The first atoms that was named after the colonizer is the beginning of the African Adams family. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So, okay. So that is a line of demarcation that separates the African Adams family from the enslaver by virtue of namesake. And after that is done, the essence, the existence of the Adams is different than the existence of the Adams who enslaved, right? I'm going somewhere with this. Can you see that?
Say that again?
The essence of the Adams family is different than the enslaved master who gave them that name.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Now, what happens? There is a total development in the Adams family that is totally foreign to the enslavers' Adams family. Can you see that?
Yep.
The attributes are different because the mindset is different. Now, when the Creator brought into existence beginning, it was to be different from Ein Sof, or the Creator of everything that is, yet the same. And the difference is that Elohim beginning brought forth Elohim, And the end goal was not for it to remain spiritual. The end goal was for Elohim to be embodied in the flesh. Does that make sense so far?
Yep.
And by it being embodied, it took on or had within it the attributes of its creator, but not the total attributes of its creator. But it had attributes of its creator. And that the creator brought into physical form out of the womb of an African female the body of humanity. And in the African female, there was the ability to give birth to every type of people that currently on the earth. So the essence of the African remains the same. The African is the only one who doesn't know that. It remains the same powerful entity that it was from the beginning because it came directly out of beginning. Does that make sense? No people on this earth came from beginning other than the African. All the rest of the people on earth came from where? The African. Am I right? Help me somebody.
Yeah.
Am I confusing you guys? I mean, am I talking in circles? Is it convoluted? Is it clear? I need help here.
Yeah.
So
You're
you
saying,
said
yeah.
something.
Go ahead,
Go
Charles.
ahead. I hear you. I hear you.
So you're saying the African came from beginning because the African is Elohim, and then
Yes,
other peoples came from the African.
yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes, no?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes. Barbara. Hello. You still with us? Is making
Yes.
sense to you?
Yes. You,
Okay,
you
now.
said it. You said it early on when you said that beginning was a spiritual demarcation,
Yes,
which implies, which means that there was more in terms of the source, the energy of the source prior
yes,
to beginning.
absolutely. Absolutely. Now,
Charles had something, I think.
go ahead, Charles.
To me, I agree with what Arden just said because Elohim created the essence, and that's us.
No. Elohim,
Okay, correct.
Elohim is the essence.
So he created. I'm gonna think about it. For
Okay. When I say essence, I'm talking about attributes. I'm talking about mindset. Now,
I know.
what you say, Charles?
Got it.
I say I know.
Okay. Okay. Now, when we talk about when I made the statement that Elohim was enclosed in this body that came through the womb of an African woman, are we with that? We are with that. Now, because of that, everybody, B-O-D-Y, that was brought into existence came from the body of the African. Can you see that? That makes sense, right? Everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
But nobody, I mean, no group of people came directly from the spiritual essence of Elohim except the African. Does that make
That's
sense?
what I'm trying to.
Okay. The only people on the earth who came directly from Elohim in bodily form is the African. And the African has birthed every group of people on the face of the earth. And in doing so, what ends up? We end up with a large group of people on this earth who are minding their own business, who don't even know what a prison is, don't know what a policeman is, because nobody went to jail. No, they have no reason to have policemen, slave patrols. So the last that came from the African are the ones who we deem who are Europeans. That was the last group of people to come from the African. And that last group of people who came from the African is the group that is fatherless from the womb. It is a distance, and I don't mean geographical, I'm talking about spiritual differences. There is a difference there between the European and the African, and that distance from wisdom ended up being the substance for the African to create in his image. As other people were brought from the womb of the African into the earth, they embraced a mindset that was closer to the African than any other mindset. The European is the only group of people who totally rejected God. What do I mean by that? Totally rejected Elohim. And to this day, we call it racism, we call it colonization, we call it imperialism. To this day, this European has taught the world by force to rebel against God, to even hate God, to hate Elohim. Can you see that? I need some feedback here.
Yes.
Yes.
So now that substance is fighting to remain in its barbaric state. Example, the Trump administration secretly contacted Burkina Faso, offered them money to accept migrants into their country. And Abraham said, no, this is not going to happen because it's inhumane. Other countries accepted for $3 million, $7 million here. But Abraham said, no, we're not going to do that because the colonizer is actually dehumanizing people by shipping them to other countries. The mindset of the European and the mindset of the African, you see how different they are? When the passports, when the embassy said there would be no passports or no visas given to anyone from Burkina Faso who seeks to travel from this country. Abraham still said no, not going to happen. Mali said no. So what the Trump administration did with Mali, they increased the visa fee to $10,000 for anyone who was traveling from Mali to the U.S. And Mali did the same thing. Any American who wants to go to Mali has to pay a $10,000 visa fee. So what I am seeing in this is the clashing of the two mindsets. And when we talk about the dismantling of this country, we are also talking about more than the country, the dismantling of the mindset of the European. Does that make sense to all of you?
I understand it.
Okay.
Same here.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
So the Akashic consciousness is feeding this discussion. That's where it's coming from. Never thought about these things before. So that is the reason the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They are spiritual. We are not engaged in a physical battle, none whatsoever. And that is the reason Elohim doesn't hate its children. Elohim seeks to correct the mindset at any cost. And whatever it takes to change the mindset from being a barbarian to being an African mindset, then so let it be. Because humanity will never be free until the mindset of the European has been altered. And you say, but what about those who are functioning on the European mindset like some of our people? When that mindset dies, then the mindset of our people will change also, because what they have been trying to mimic will no longer exist. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes,
That's-
that makes sense.
Thank you, thank you. That's who we are. And that's the journey that we are on.
So you just sort of proved a theorem. The first principle of Maya, which says that the truth is we are spiritual beings. And you just turned it on its head by saying that the African mindset was never enslaved. It is the European mindset that is enslaved, but not by the African, by its own doing
Yes.
and being. It's enslaved, which is a totally different way of looking at that. And we talked about the fact that people can be enslaved and not know they are enslaved, which is worse. So there are a lot of chains to be broken because they don't know that they are enslaved.
No, they think that every other mind is enslaved. If the African mind was enslaved, we would not continue to be the most spiritual people on the face of the earth. We would not continue to be the most forgiving people on the face of the earth. We would not continue to be loving kindness. We would be just like that European mindset. Now, why are we not like that European mindset? How did we hold on to all of those things? because we never stopped being Elohim. We simply did not know how to describe it. We have always been forgiveness. We have always been loving kindness. We have always been the creator of everything that mankind needed. And that is the reason there are no Europeans who created anything. It invented nothing. All of it came from the African. And guess where it came from, y'all? You gonna make me say, help me somebody. Where did it come from? It came from the African who was enslaved in this country. It has always, from the beginning, been determined that we in this place called America, it was determined that we would be the mindset that brought the dominant mindset of the African into existence, while at the same time being the inventors, which means that we are gods and we are creating physically, and that's what's called an invention. The idea of smelting iron came from Nigeria. The whole everything came from the mindset of the African. So the Creator strategically placed us here because the most racist, the most diabolical, the most greedy people, the ones who would skin you alive and burn your baby while the baby's still in your arms, are Americans. There was no brutality of slavery like enslavement in this country. None. Would take you and skin you alive and make a leather sofa out of you, or make a leather purse, make leather shoes. We are the essence of deliverance. And that is the reason that that European mindset sought to destroy as many of us as it could, but keep just enough so they could benefit from our presence. This is the spiritual battleground for the whole of the earth. Burkina Faso, Ibrahim would not be able to do what he's doing if we were not doing what we're doing. He would be dead by now, just like all the rest of them. Am I making sense now?
You're making a whole lot of sense.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay,
I feel what you're saying.
thank you. The mindset of the African must be the mindset of humanity. And the way that happens is that we be still long enough to know that I am God, that you are God. Be still long enough, meaning all the thoughts that run through your head that are contrary to that, let them flow right through. Do not focus on them at all. If you get the jitters, embracing who you are, then keep talking to yourself about it until you get to the place where you are comfortable with it. Because until we look at this book of these books that's called a Bible and read what they're supposed to be saying, understanding that they are about Elohim being what it's supposed to be in the earth. When we embrace that mirror, regardless of how far-fetched it appears to be, without regard to us understanding it or not, embrace it. Because it is indeed a mirror, a roadmap, the encouragement that's needed to be who we were from the beginning. And there are people who are uncomfortable saying that they are African. That has to change also, especially with those who purport to be Elohim. You cannot be Elohim unless you're an African. Ron?
Let me ask a question, Pastor. You said that you mentioned be still and know that I am God. Is this sort of unconscious assertion that we as African Americans have made in terms of not protesting, not getting in the streets? Is that a part of this, of an unconscious knowing to be still?
Honestly, it's a conscious knowing by us that they're
Sorry?
picking up. It's a conscious knowing by us that they pick up in the macro. Does that make sense?
Okay, but it's unconscious to most other people. Most
Yes.
other.
And that's what I'm saying. They pick it up in the macro.
Because I feel like this whole Charlie Kirk thing is going to have people really looking at Christianity and possibly deciding that, you know, they need to reconsider it. And I think that's maybe part of the unconscious movement to be still so that we can finally discover who we are.
Suppose for a moment that our desire for the African to discover who it is or realize who it is, become aware of who it is, suppose that this whole thing about Christianity being the blinder resulted in what happened to Kirk, so that people would take notice of what Christianity is. And that's the reason they were punishing people for reminding people of what Kirk said and did. We are who we are because we were brought into this earth to be who we are. Our priority has to be, first of all, self-awareness, and above all, a love for humanity, a desire to bring peace and harmony to a place that has not experienced it for quite some time, and that is the earth itself. The smallest number of people, the weakest people, are the greediest people and most dangerous. Listen now. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. So the spiritual warfare that we are engaged in has taken the power from all of those, all the Europeans worldwide who appropriated it to do what they did. the spiritual nature of our essence is what brings an awareness to the people. We are in this country to be the tip of the spear for the benefit of humanity and to open the eye of the African. I'm done. Ron?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, are there any questions? I should have asked that before I said I was done.
No questions, then let's pause here.
As we pause,
Yes, sir.
be reminded that our ancestors, especially the ones we witnessed leave bodies, the funerals, our ancestors were taken out of this earth, most of them that we don't know, through murder. Our ancestors were sold and treated worse than animals and yet survived. It's a known fact that no other group of people would have survived what we have been through. And the reason that we must always honor our ancestors is because they always made a desire to make a better pathway for us. And they were murdered many times because of that. Honor our ancestors because their voices are speaking to us just as Abel's blood was speaking from the ground. That's who our ancestors are. And they are jubilant about us in this country finally waking up and understanding that we are the change that must take place, and no one else is that change. We are the change for the entire earth. And I promise you, between now and the end of this year, especially during the month of November, we are going to have some experiences that looks like they will destroy us, but absolutely nothing can destroy God. Hold on to that. I'm done now.
Thank you. Once again, any questions, y'all?
Ashe.
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 Say,
Ashe.
Good.
Ashe.
okay.
Right. Peace be with you. Have a great week.
You too.
Thank you, everyone.
Guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Everybody.
Bye-bye.